So, welcome back to Inside Movies Galore, where I uh, have been reviewing Albert Pyun's Nemesis film series, and this madness just gets worse and worse. We have the character of Alex, which is funny because Alex is the name of the cyborg in the first Nemesis we have to the original film is that Farnsworth has returned as a cyborg because evidently Farnsworth either has been killed or has been replaced by this Farnsworth 2, which has somehow come to the planet to find the character of Alex, who is played by Sue Price once again, which I'm glad that she has returned as this character, so that it kind of keeps, some of the storyline, and we end up seeing that Alex's character has her head's been bashed in. She's found kind of like Simba in the middle of the desert from the Lion King, and except she doesn't have any buzzards around her. Well, in any case, Farnsworth 2 shows you see that it is machine, but it shows up to us as the actor Tim Thomerson to her, so it's more personable for this amnesiac of Alex, and as she starts to talk to this Farnsworth 2 cyborg, she begins to remember her memory. And what her memory is it actually kind of flashbacks to different things. Like, apparently Alex's character has a sister, and the sister has been factioned away somewhere, or kidnapped. So evidently, her character has gone on a mission to find this sister of hers, and she runs into several different characters, some military, some of them looking like the slavers that we see in the first film, because evidently all the Africans have been killed. But we also have these two Gemini-looking twins that are cyborgs that are working for Farnsworth 2, that are and another muscle dude that evidently is kind of working for them as well. So there is a character that she meets that is part of a military faction, probably of an American military, or at least a British one, and he evidently is kind of a merchant of sorts, because he is basically, after Alex fights with some characters, he's basically taking and going through the things that are on the bodies of the dead. The dead, and he's basically collecting what he needs to go along on whatever mission that he is, and somehow he ends up on the same mission as she is, but he's kind of like this rogue warrior. But she also runs into another group where evidently there's this dumb character by the name of Johnny, and he is played by Xavier Deckley, but evidently he was one of the smartest and best warriors that evidently that merchant knew, and that would be Edson, played by Norbert Weiser, the rogue that I am speaking of. And so somehow his memories were taken away from him as well. So ultimately, they go up against the character of Farnsworth in the end, and for some reason, Nebula has taken the shape and form of the mother of Alex, who has returned, which we see her fleeing and coming to the desert of Africa before she has been killed herself, and so this is kind of a different. I believe that her sister's name is Locke, and she is played by Sharon Brunel. But we have the characters. We definitely have some interesting characters here, but this whole film is kind of discombobulated. It still heavily rips on the CGI used in Predator, and not only does it rip on the way that the Predator is seen, there is a vehicle that looks like a dune buggy that is somewhat distorted when it goes along, and there is a chase in this dune buggy that is kind of comical. And for some reason, this just kind of feels like a bad movie, and it is. And it's not that it's entirely a bad film, because I feel like the cinematography is beautiful, but I just was not feeling the vibe again. It was just all over the place. I mean, it was just not right, and for some reason he should have stopped there. And I feel like this film could have been better if it had been created with its own originality, without ripping off movies that are popular to us. And it's not that I didn't like the characters or anything like that. It's just the storyline. The storyline wasn't that bad either. It was just the CGI effects were ripped off, and I feel like this wasn't an homage to the films that I know that it was ripping off of. And I could see how people at the time did not like the film. Again, I can see where the filmmaker was going with this film. I just don't like the way that it was gone about. And so if this film sounds like something that you would definitely watch, then you can find it for yourself on your own. I watched it from this German edition, which I have talked about previously, and I just couldn't really get into it. And even though some of it was slightly interesting, it was still a bad film. And I just don't know what else to say. I can't exactly praise it. So, in any case, like and subscribe. I definitely enjoyed trying to describe this film. I know that other people have, but you know what? This is my take on it, and you can either like it or love it or leave it. And in any case, thanks for listening. Check out my other reviews, and hopefully you like and subscribe, and have a nice day, afternoon, or morning, as you see fit.